Hello, buddy. Welcome back to the channel. Lovely day here in the Philippines. Thought it was going to rain yesterday, but it turned out to just be a nice, cool day and beautiful sunny day here once again. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. Anything you guys want to talk about? Any questions you've got? I'm open for discussions. I was going to tell you guys, I've got a baby. He'll be 7 months old this month, and we are applying for a Social Security. If you're American, you're on Social Security, and you have a child, theoretically, you get a bump in your Social Security for a dependent child. And everybody thinks, oh, it's so easy. So I bet you just had a child just so you could get your Social Security, get an increase in your Social Security. And you would not believe how difficult it is to do this. We had to go to Cebu, and we had to drop off all this proof of that he was my child, like pictures of Jen pregnant, all the medical records from when she was in the hospital, his Philippine birth certificate, Philippine passport, all this stuff. And so finally, after all these months, 7 months, we got his American birth certificate and his American, they call it birth abroad, our American passport is American birth abroad. It's like the American version of birth certificate. And then you have to send all that stuff back to Manila, which we did yesterday. And then get this, they said to get a Social Security number, for the first time, it's going to take 150 days. So from the time I send it off to them, it's going to be another 150 days before we even get that. So I don't know what's going on there. Anyway, let's see. CBL, good morning, Mark. Good morning, my Mexican dream. Hello there, looking good. Thanks. Skip Thompson, morning, Mark. Another quick question. Go right ahead. This is what I'm here for. Not a lot of people on, so let's answer some questions. You need a return flight when you enter the Philippines. Yeah, you need what's called a throwaway ticket, Curtis. And basically, it's real simple. You can go online, throwaway ticket or onward ticket. Um, like I think I paid $12 for mine. They're usually less than 20 bucks. You're basically renting a ticket, and you print that out a couple days before your flight. Don't print it out like 2 weeks before. It's only good for a certain amount of time. And when you show up, the only time they're going to ask for that is at the airport when you're leaving your country. And they'll ask to see that piece of paper, show it to them. Okay, fine, good. Once you get to the Philippines, nobody's going to ask you to see that. You'll never have to show it again. I don't need that because I'm a permanent resident. I've got a 13A visa, but basically it's pretty simple. And then there's some kind of form you got to fill out to a travel form too to come to the Philippines, which they never had when I first came here. Let's see. Hello, sir. I hope you and your family are doing well. Happy Thanksgiving. Oh, yeah, that's right. It's Thanksgiving today. We normally do a big Thanksgiving. We had like 30 people here last year, had it catered and everything, but with the baby and everything, we decided to go to dinner with friends. So we're going to meet our friends at a restaurant, have a nice, relaxing Thanksgiving dinner, and Jen's mom's going to look after the baby because in the Philippines, Thanksgiving isn't a holiday, so no big deal. And so, kind of looking forward to that later on this afternoon. Those throwaway tickets, just Google it. Throwaway ticket or onward ticket. There's lots of them out there, and just check the reviews. But it's pretty simple. Just print it out. It's all you got to do and pay for it. And first time I did it was 6 years ago. I had no trouble. So really, it's pretty easy. Skip Thompson, happy Thanksgiving. Thank you so much. So anyway, yeah. So hopefully, I'll get his Social Security number. But it's just crazy that they can't do it in Manila. You have to send your babies two passports, American and Philippine, two birth certificates, American and Philippine, to Manila. Then I'm not sure if they send it to America or what they do, but then the Social Security number, the card, actually comes from America. So they send it from America all the way to Manila, and then Manila sends it to us, 150 days. You think with today's technology, they could just email it to you, but nope. I don't know why my camera's doing what it's doing. You see it zooming in and out. I don't know how that happened. I'm going to have to change some kind of setting on there. Let's see. How many hours per week do you spend on vlogging on YouTube? It's like a full-time job, 40 hours per week. No, nothing like that. Nothing like that. I don't know. It's like today, baby's asleep, don't have anybody to interview, beautiful day. So decide to do a live stream, I don't advertise. I just throw it out there, and it works out great. And then as far as interviews, whenever usually right now the way it works, people just contact me and they say, "Hey, Mark, watch your show. I'd like to be on it," and then we get together. That's how I'm getting almost all my interviews now, or they're referred from a friend. A friend of mine has to know somebody, and they recommend them to me. I used to go out and hang out at a coffee shop and meet people and go there every single day, and it just got to be a hassle, and it wasn't really that successful, anyways. And right now there isn't. I haven't found a coffee shop. I like coffee shops and to go to, but I haven't found a nice one in Dumaguete, so far. So there's a new Starbucks, but I don't like the atmosphere. It's way far away from where we live. All the coffee shops here are too small. So I haven't really found a place where expats are hanging out. There used to be a really nice one, a Bo's Coffee, right outside the entrance to the mall, but they're remodeling the mall and they ripped that out like 3 years ago. And so it doesn't exist anymore. It was perfect. It was right outside the entrance to the mall. It's a real nice coffee shop. So anyway, if anybody knows of a nice coffee shop in Dumaguete where a lot of expats are hanging out, let me know and I'll start hanging out over there. Roy Gould. Hey, Roy, nice to see you. I did all that you did back in the 1980s in the Cali, Colombia. My second son was born in Colombia. All I needed was to register the birth at the British consulate and get a British birth certificate. Yeah, British. Yeah, American, it's very different. It's like they wanted so much proof. And then they asked us all these questions too. They kind of interrogated us like, well, they actually said to me, we're standing, me and my wife and the baby, and the person interviewing us, this woman, she's behind glass. And this is at the consulate in Cebu. And she says, "So, how was the baby conceived?" I go, "Excuse me?" She goes, "Well, normally or in vitro," or it said, I go, "Normally." Like, I couldn't believe they asked us that question. But anyway, they did. And so we turned in all the paper. And then they said, "Well, what thing we're missing is your proof that you've been in America in the last 10 years, something like that." So apparently you've been out of the country for a long time. It's hard to even apply for Social Security for your son or for you. And I said, "Do you have a utility bill or a phone bill or car insurance?" I said, "No." I said, "I've been here for 5 years. I don't have any of that stuff, from America. I cut all ties with America. I don't have anything going on there except for my 2 bank accounts." And eventually, they accepted it anyways. But then all that's done, and now waiting for the Social Security. So we'll see. But everybody thinks it's really easy, and it's not. I know guys that have children over here, all legitimate, married, got a child, and everything, and they just gave up on the whole process. It was too difficult. They haven't gotten it pulled off. Let's see. In general, CBL Daddy. In general, which Southeast Asian country got the most loyal, trustworthy women? Man, I don't know. I mean, you're asking the wrong person now. I think the Philippines. I think Asian women in general seem to be trustworthy and honest. And I have no experience in Thailand, even though I've been there. I never dated anybody from Thailand or Malaysia or Vietnam. Most of the women I went out with when I worked on ships were Eastern European, like Russian, Ukrainian, Romanian, a lot of Romanian girls, Poland. I went out with girls from Poland, and then Australia and England. But yeah, so I mean, to me, the Filipino women are just great. I mean, they make wonderful girlfriends, wonderful wives. They're loyal. They're extremely affectionate. Um, and just they don't want very much. Most of them are just very, they just want a simple life. And for me, it's worked out perfect. I couldn't be happier. Uh, I'm doing good. Newman. Hey, Mark, what advice would you have for someone who often feels glum and depressed about life? That's a really good question, Newman. First of all, you have to start, counting your blessings. I'm not talking about a religious thing. When you wake up in the morning, instead of thinking about what your problems are or what the things you got to do today that you don't want to deal with, just say, wow, it's a beautiful sunny day today. I've got a roof over my head. I don't have any kind of bad illness or anything. If you've got children, my children are safe and happy. My family is doing fine. I got money in the bank. Whatever it is that you've got that's good, and dwell on that. And then I have a little mantra that I say, almost every day. I say, um, today is a much better day than yesterday, and yesterday was a good day. Today is a much better day than yesterday, and yesterday was a good day. And for me, that kind of works. But And the most important thing is to get rid of, you have to delete. It actually look like you have a delete button in your brain. Whenever a negative thought pops into your head, you got to delete it immediately. Just delete it. Like, whether it's you're thinking negative about somebody did something, you're dwelling on it. You got a problem you're worried about. If you got a problem you want to sort out, it's to turn it over to your subconscious mind and say, okay, I got to figure out a way to pay my rent next month. I mean, how am I going to pay my rent? And just let your mind find a solution to it. I got to find a better job. I got to change my life. I got to find a girlfriend, whatever it is, and let your mind sort that out for you. All you have to do is just focus on it and then let it go. Once you've put it in there, just let your mind work on it, and eventually you'll come up with an answer. But the most important thing is to delete negative thoughts. And I have a little bit of qualification to answer questions like this because I was the executive producer for the Dr. Stan Frager show many years ago in Louisville, Kentucky, which is a syndicated talk show. And Dr. Stan Frager was the staff psychologist for the University of Louisville for all the athletes. And he had a radio show for many years that was syndicated. And I was his executive producer and co-host. So I listened to Dr. Frager give advice, for a couple of years to all kinds of mental things. Anyway, so hope that helps you out. John, well, you have a nice house. Yeah, I love living here. It's got really lucky, right on the beach. Yeah, I'll show you the beach here today because our beach keeps getting bigger. Normally you hear about beach erosion. Our beach keeps getting bigger. There you go. You see that? The ocean down there. Kind of a medium tide right now. Nice beach. We've had like an extra 2 feet of sand come in over the last 3 months. And it's really nice because you can walk out there in nice sand and go out a couple hundred yards. We would take the baby out there, a little boat for him. Let's see. Happy holidays, Mookie. Is Dumaguete a tourist destination? I don't think so. No, not a touristy place. You don't see a lot of tourists here. The place you see a tourist are where you have like Mobile, where they're going to see the sardines, or over in Cebu, where they're going to see the whale sharks, or where they're seeing the chocolate hills and the Tesars and all that stuff, Palawan. But yeah, Dumaguete is really not a tourist, destination. And I don't know if it ever could be really. There's really not, touristy type things here. That's the thing about the Philippines too. Is like if you're usually I travel around the world on cruise ships, and every port, especially in South America or Europe or wherever, you get off the ship and you can find all kinds of cool stuff to buy. Here in the Philippines, there's really nothing to buy for souvenirs or nothing like that. I see the same stuff, a lot of Chinese junk. So there's not a lot of things to buy here. Let's see, Newman. Started to run scented candles in my room. They help a lot for my depression. That's interesting, scented candles, okay. Meditation is also another thing. Try meditation. And really with meditation, all you have to do is just quiet your mind and stop the chatter. Stop the chatter and just quiet your mind. Again, you can use that delete button again if say a thought pops up in your head, and it is when you're trying to meditate, you have little thoughts, stupid things popping up in your head constantly. Just pretend like, on your finger there, you've got a button, and you hit that button and deletes that thought. Delete it, delete it, delete it. And you want to get as long of space as you can, or time period, even if it's just a few minutes at a time where you've got no thoughts at all, zero. It's just calm. You're, listen to like right now I can listen to the ocean, or whatever around you. Live in the moment. That's another thing. It's like the past is gone, the future doesn't exist yet. All you've got is right now. That's the only thing that exists. And so you have to live in the moment. If you're going to worry about things that haven't happened yet, you ruin a perfectly good day worrying about something that usually doesn't even happen. And if it's something out of your control, something you can't change, why worry about it? Just enjoy today and don't worry about tomorrow, because you can't change it anyways. I heard Dumaguete in particular amongst other, I don't know. Use your phone or camera for filming. Looks and sounds really nice and high quality. Thank you for the solid content. That's a really good question. Matter of fact, I was just on the online this morning looking at equipment because I want to level up my show. And right now I'm using my Samsung Galaxy S10 phone, got a great camera on it, using my little $10 microphone and my $20 tripod, and that's my whole thing, you know. And of course, we're using StreamYard for this live stream, which is free too. I want to get a proper camera, and I was looking at one. I'd buy a used one. I wouldn't buy a new one. And the Sony A6000 is supposed to be a really good camera that you can pick up for a few $100 used. But then sometimes you end up getting more editing. I don't do a lot of editing. The most important thing is sound, have good sound and lighting. I'm actually looking at buying a light too that goes in front of the camera to light me up better. Because I can't film down by the ocean with the ocean in the background because of the camera on the cell phone. It either focuses on you or focuses what's behind me. So even if I go out there and the ocean's a beautiful blue, which it isn't today, it's kind of gray. But if it's beautiful and blue, it doesn't show up that way on the phone for some reason. So yeah, I think if I have the proper lighting, I can make that work. But and then eventually I want to have 2 cameras, 2 microphones when I do an interview, and so I can film me and film the person I'm talking to, and then we can edit it all together later on. I've done a couple of experiments with that. I've got friends of mine that did the editing for me, but that's like the next level up. And I'm actually going to build some type of studio in here too, where I can have a place where I can do my interviews. But when I do these talking head videos or live streams, I just sit here at my desk and do it live. Jeff, greetings from the northern city in U.S., Barrow, also called Utica, Alaska. Well, I saw a documentary on Barrow, Alaska one time, or it was like a mini series or something on Barrow, Alaska that they had on the Discovery Channel. I've been to Alaska many, many times on cruise ships, done tours there, and beautiful state. I hear it's in trouble though economically. That a lot of people are leaving. It's just too harsh of an environment for some people. You do get paid to live there, get a bit of the oil revenue, but I mean you got to put up with the weather and those long dark winters. I was always there in the summertime on cruise ships, but yeah, it's nice. But on the cruise ships, whenever you pull into some place like Ketchikan, and it's like this old west town, it's all fake. It's like a fake town. It's not even a real town. And they've got like a Starbucks and a Colombian Emeralds and Diamonds International and the same shops as you see in Mexico. So I don't know. But Alaska, such a long ways away from everything. But yeah, congratulations, you know, living in Alaska. I like the fish too. Great fishing in Alaska. CBL Daddy, how much you pay in rent? I'm sorry if you answered this before. I'm a new subscriber. I don't really want to disclose that. I'm sorry. I've done it in the past, but I'll tell you what happened is I actually disclosed my rent, and somebody watching my channel actually somehow found out who my landlord was and contacted him and offered to pay him more to steal my apartment. Can you believe that? And so I kind of keep it low key, you know. I get a good deal in this place. I've been here for over 3 years now and really like it. And I said we would probably never move, but you never know. You never know. You know, it's hard to find something like this, even in the Philippines, you know, because I've got so much space here. It's a beautiful piece of property too. And it's centrally located. Like I can be in downtown Dumaguete in 20 minutes. I can be at the mall in 15 minutes. And be at Jen's mom's house in like 10 minutes. So it's very convenient, this location where we are. And it's very quiet. Like right now, here you don't hear any roosters or dogs or nothing, just the ocean. Let's see. Great advice, Mark. Today is a better day than yesterday. I love it. Yeah, it actually works. And also, if you can just improve things in your life, say, well, today's better than yesterday, and even if you think like that it's 1% better, you know, that's 365% if you go for the whole year. If you can just improve your life by 1% every day, you can make huge changes. Like that's what I try and do with my channel. Whenever I make a video, you know, especially if it's an interview or a talking head video, I try and make at least a little bit better than the last one I made. I don't always pull that off, but I try to. Whether it's like a little better lighting, a little better sound, a little better background, a little better script, whatever it is, that somehow I can make it better. And if you do that in your life and try and make things better, there's always room for improvement. And same thing goes with your health. Like do whatever you can. Like say if you're really out of health or you're in bad shape physically, can you walk from here to the mailbox? And then, next time just walk around the block and just, little by little increase it. And you can slowly get yourself back in shape. Um, Sun is down here until the third week of January. He's talking about Alaska. Yeah, I remember I would spend a lot of time also in Norway. And I went as far as the North Cape, which is as far as north as you can go in Europe. And in the summertime there, and then they have the midnight sun. And that drove me crazy. I didn't like it being outside at 11 o'clock at night and the sun is still up. Just kind of freaked me out. I kind of like the normal, sunrise and sunset. Hi, Mark. I see you have your Christmas tree up a little early. I'm already starting to drink for St. Patrick's Day. That tree has been up since September 1st, David. Here in the Philippines, I thought it was a joke, but it's actually true. They think Christmas starts on the first Burr month. They actually say the first Burr month, so September. And sure enough, I was over here. I had Jen's family over here for dinner on a Sunday, first week in September, and me and my brother-in-law Steve are watching a UFC fight. Next thing I know, Jen, her mom, and her dad are dragging the Christmas tree out, and all these ornaments that had been in storage in Louisville for 5 years, and they decorated the tree, and it turned out really nice. And so I look at it as like a piece of art. I like art, and it's almost like a kinetic piece of art. I don't normally have the lights flashing either, but they put it up that way. And it's kind of cool because it changes throughout the day. And we bought a bunch of presents for Rogan, put those under the tree yesterday, and I'm going to buy Jen's stuff. I keep telling everybody, I tell my wife, I said, do not, buy me anything. Hold on, somebody's at the door, okay? Hold on. I'll be right back. My wife got it. Anyway, let's see. Gary, Green from San Francisco. Happy Thanksgiving to you. That blog about older guys being attracted to younger Filipinas was inspiring. Thank you. Yeah, it's true too, because the reason I did that video is a lot of people were saying, oh, it's all about the money. It's just about the money. It's all she wants is your money. And there's a lot more to it than that. And there really is. It's like what they want and what younger women around the world, because I always, it's weird. When I was young, say when I was in high school, I was dating college girls. So my senior prom, I brought a girl who was a junior in college, University of Cincinnati, when I was a junior in high school. And so I did that for a while. I was always dating older women. And then I was dating, when I was a production stage manager, I was like 22 years old. I was dating actresses who were in their 30s. And then all of a sudden, when I got older, I started dating women that were more closer to my age in my 20s. And then when I hit in my 30s, started dating women that were a little bit younger. And then I kind of stayed in the 20-somethings. And so the whole time I was working on cruise ships and single, I was dating women in their 20s, even when I was in my 50s. And it wasn't really working on, it's just those are the women I met. And this is the way it was. But there's something about our generation, I said it in the video, of how we treat women and how we're not afraid to approach a woman. A lot of these guys nowadays are too timid. They're afraid to even walk up to a girl, They want to do everything by texting when they can't see them. But anyway, glad you liked the video. Happy Turkey Day to you and yours. Thank you. Hey, Mark, I'm glad I caught your live stream. Well, great, Ron. Glad you're watching. Lisa, hey, we got a lady watching. Non-attached to what enters the mind. You can't stop the clouds that travel by. Okay, it's interesting. Hooray, Ron Lawson. Hey, Mark, do you travel early morning to avoid traffic? No. I don't worry about the traffic here. I really don't. I mean, we go out whenever we want to go out. The worst traffic here is like, say, 5 to 7 at night. That's when it's the worst. And then there's a bit of a rush at lunchtime because all the kids here, they get out of school for lunch and they go home for lunch. So around lunchtime, say 11:30, 12 o'clock, you go along Jose Romero Road or national highway, there's all these children everywhere, you know, going to get snacks and going home and stuff. But you know, I'm just used to the traffic. It's really not that bad. It really isn't. And what I love is not having any traffic lights and any stop signs. And you get to a big intersection downtown Dumaguete, and busy day, and all these cars coming from different directions, cars, trucks, motorcycles, and everybody just goes whenever they can go. There's no rule. The person that gets to the left goes first, and the next person. You just go when you can go, and it works out beautifully. No traffic jam. Whenever we have a traffic jam, they call them traffic enforcers. When it's real busy, sometimes these guys will be out there. They got these gloves, green on one side, red on the other. They kind of control traffic with that, and they fuck it up every time. But anyway, yeah, traffic's not that bad here, really. It doesn't bother me. Smith Star, you kind of remind me of Hank Hill from King of the Hill. Keep up the great work and inspire it all. Thanks. I never watched that show, but thank you. John, I heard Dumaguete is overcrowded with YouTube bloggers and increasing amount of expats coming to Dumaguete. Are those of the undesirable category? Hence, bloggers are heading to Thailand now. Bullshit. None of that's true. None of that. If you went out, you know, in any day and travel all around, go to the mall, go to the boulevard, go to the more popular restaurants and bars around here, you won't see a single vlogger. You know, I don't remember last time I saw another vlogger. I don't remember, really. You know, I've never seen Filipina P in like years. I've run into Paul a couple of times at private parties. He wasn't vlogging, just ran into him. I've seen Gio a couple of times. And I've got a couple of friends of mine that are vloggers. Like, you know, my friend Robert's a vlogger, and I saw him yesterday. But no, I don't believe that's true at all. A lot of the girls here are vlogging. A lot of the girls, Filipinas, it's just like a thing. It's like a kind of caught on. A lot of these girls are vlogging. And it's just, you know, silly stuff they're putting out there. But as far as serious vloggers who actually treat it as a career, and, you know, that's how we make our money. There's just a handful of us doing it here in the Philippines, or especially in Dumaguete. There's like literally, you know, 5 of us, you know, if that. Let's see. Happy Thanksgiving to your family. Air stagnation here in Oregon. Temperature is low 30. Stagnation in Oregon. It's got such beautiful air out there with the ocean and everything. I love Oregon. It's a beautiful state. Beautiful. Jim Pendergrast. Hey, Mark, stress just seems to disappear as soon as when I'm here in the Philippines. Blood pressure is perfect. You know something, Jim? The same thing happened to me. I was on blood pressure medicine for, you know, many, many, many years. I've had quadruple bypass surgery, as you guys know that. And one time when I was in America, before I realized I had heart trouble, I woke up one morning, this when I was between cruise ship jobs, and I was selling Jaguars and Land Rovers. And I woke up and I was totally deaf, could not hear a sound. And I'm freaking out what to do. I get in my car, I go to the prompt care center. They checked my blood pressure, and it was like 220 over 200, something, like I should have been dead. And they gave me all this medication, eventually got it down. That's how I knew I had a problem. Anyway, here I've got a monitor and I check my blood pressure, and every day it's like not only normal, it's better than normal. And it's just been that way for the last like 4 or 5 months. I've got my medication, but I don't take it if I don't need it. And then I've got some heart medication I take at night, but I monitor everything. And I think it is the stress. It's the lack of stress. And then when something does pop up here, if you're just patient, it kind of works its way out. Like yesterday, we had to find an LBC place to send this passport and stuff off to Manila, and we had to drive around to find one of those. And then we had to find a print shop to print some things for my insurance on my car, and had to drive around and find a print shop. But I mean, just be patient. Eventually, we find everything we need, and it all works out, you know. Let's see. Have afterthoughts official. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family, your lovely family. Thank you both for sharing your experiences, advice, and encouragement over the years. You've helped thousands of viewers, including me. Wow, thank you so much. What a nice comment that is. Yeah, all I can do is really just kind of tell you my story and how things have worked out for me and what's going on with my life and my family's life. But and I try and answer whatever questions I can. But I always say that I don't claim to be an expert on anything. I really don't. I mean, I'm just an old man with, whatever knowledge I've got. And I share it with you guys. I'm happy to answer questions. You shoot me an email, I'll answer your email, especially if it's a simple question. Don't tell me your whole life story. Just tell me, get to the point. What is it you want to talk about? And if you're here in Dumaguete, I'm happy to meet with you and have a cup of coffee. I usually don't do lunch. It just takes too long and I don't have the time. So I'll meet you for a cup of coffee. You would like to do an interview. Sometimes we come out here to the house and do them. Other times we can do it, in town someplace or at your hotel or whatever. But I'm always looking for people to interview. And that's basically it. But there are some really good channels out there with information like Jennifer Terry has a good channel that tells you about visas and things like that, the changes and the requirements of coming here. But for me, it's just kind of like I can just tell you what worked for me and what didn't work for me. So, but thank you so much for the kind thoughts. I really appreciate it. Let's see. Are you and Paul from the Philippines still friends? We're we're not enemies, and I guess we're friends. I mean, I've seen him like twice the last like 3 or 4 months. Paul lives up on the mountain. I live here on the beach. We have totally different friends. Hold on a second. Sorry. Still here? Sorry. Are we back? Yeah, my electric fan broke and I had to take it down to get it fixed. And it's ready. I'm gonna go back and make sure I didn't miss anybody's comments here. Let's see. Wow. Wow, I got a bunch of comments here. Oh. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Okay. So back to Paul. Yeah. Yeah, we're still friends. I mean, last time I saw him, he shook hands with me, everything, but we just don't communicate or hang out together anymore. We just kind of have gone our different ways, and he's building a house, and he's got his life. I've got my life, and we got a baby now, and so we just, we don't really have anything in common. Everybody thinks we do, and we were doing a lot of videos with each other. We were next door neighbors. Literally, we were next door neighbors, and that's why we did a lot of things together. But once I moved, Paul wasn't really interested in doing that anymore, and he kind of does his own thing, and he has his own friends, and so yeah, he's a great guy. I've got absolutely nothing to say against him. He's a great guy, and he's just not a close friend of mine anymore. Let's see. Here we go, Rick. Going to Southeast Asia in January, Thailand 2 months, Philippines 1 month. I may spend some time in Cebu, Bohol, and Negros Islands. Good for you, Rick. Enjoy your trip. Thank God, no more Trump talk. Enough is enough, people. Life goes on. Nothing ever changes unless you change it yourself. No president will ever do it for you. I couldn't agree more. I think I mentioned before, I was a bit of a political junkie for most of my life. Always watching all the political shows and keeping track of all the stuff that's going on politically, not just in America, but around the world. I've decided to take a break. I'm just going to take a break from the whole thing. And when I turn on, like I watch YouTube on my TV. I don't really watch local news. We got Netflix, but when something pops up and it's about Trump or Biden or whatever, I just skip it. I just skip it now. I don't watch it. All the shows I was watching, which since I'm a Democrat, most of them were like definitely left leaning, and slamming Trump, and saying that what's her face was going to win by a landslide, and I just kind of they were so wrong. They were wrong about everything. And I just stepping back. I mean, I don't live in America anymore. He's got the House, the Senate, and Supreme Court, um, and the presidency. So we'll see what happens in 4 years. But for me, I'm just going to enjoy my life here in the Philippines and enjoy my friends and my family and my baby, and just kind of enjoy life and just take a step back. Just take a step back from the whole thing, because it's, if you're on the other side, it's kind of upsetting, but you have to let these things go. And he's right. Nobody's going to change the world for you. No president's going to make that big a change, hopefully. So anyway, that's where I'm at there. No more talk about politics. Stand guard to the door of your mind. Good. That's a good quote. I like that. Is it bad to look at women at the grocery store just for a second? Well, don't be a creep. If you're single, you're in the grocery store and there's an attractive lady. Look over at her and she looks at you, smile, and then you got to come up with something to say. You know, is this avocado ripe? Or do you know where I could get some pecani sauce? Or is this the only main store? Is there another place to shop? Or is this it? Ask a question. And that way you don't come across as being a creep. And don't comment, or, oh, you're really pretty, or are you single? Don't have lines like that. Ask her some simple question about, about the store, about shopping, about the neighborhood, anything. But don't just sit there and stare at somebody. Let's see, Ron. By it being tropical weather there, are there a lot of bugs or critters? You know what, Ron? I was thinking about that the other day. I remember in America, right, in the summertime, you're driving around, and my windscreen of my car would always be covered in bug guts from smash bugs, right? And here you think, I mean, we're in the jungle. This is a jungle. And I drive around. I don't remember the last time a bug at night hit my windshield. Now, driving the motorcycle, yeah, I had an occasional little tiny bee get inside my helmet and sting me a couple times. I've been stung on my arm a couple times by, they're not big bees, they're small bees, but they're rare. I mean, in 6 years, it happened twice. But no, there doesn't seem to be a lot of bugs here. We have a lot of lizards, though. A lot of lizards. They call them tucos here because the sound they make is tuco. And they get big too. Like you'll see them like this big, but most of them be little tiny ones. And you can't get them out of your house. I mean, forget about that. We got, I don't know, at this moment right now, there's probably 20 lizards in here somewhere. And I just leave them alone because they eat the ants. Any bug comes in, they track it down and eat it. So we kind of have a mutual agreement here. But yeah, but no, and snakes. I've seen one snake on this property. And the whole time I've been in the Philippines, I used to hike in the jungle and everything. I think maybe I've seen 2 or 3 snakes. Jen saw one snake. So people worry about snakes. And in the ocean, actually, I saw 2 sea snakes, not the same time, but different occasions, right behind my house here, right out, only a few yards out too. And the sea snakes are black and white striped. They're supposed to be as venomous as a cobra because they're in the same family. They're rear-winged snakes. Yeah, rear mouth, or rear fanged snake. Their fangs are in the back, unlike a rattlesnake that's in the front. And but they're very docile. And if you want to get bit by a sea snake, you got to literally pick it up and stick your finger in its mouth and then clamp its mouth shut on your finger to get bit, because they just don't bother you at all. And I've seen them here. I've seen them in Malaysia. I've seen them in Bali before. But that's it. Jurassic Jerky. Hey, nice to see you. Make sure you check out his website. He's got some really good jerky. Cheers from Paradise City, where the grass is greener and the girls are pretty. Medellin, Colombia. Colombia is a great country, man. Good place to check out, especially if you speak English. Let's see, is the weather good there in March? I think it's good here year round, man. I really do. I mean, I can't really say, oh, whatever you do, don't come here during this month, because there isn't a month like that. And we're on the equator. It's very stable here. I mean, this is a rainy season. Look at it. It's a little bit overcast out there today. A beautiful sunny day. It's always in the 80s, never in the 90s, never in the 60s. I just love the weather here. I think it's great. Let's see. Yeah, we had a troll today. Yeah, so if you're a troll and you come on the live stream and you're banned, then you're banned for life. There's no way to unban you. So I've had people send me really nice emails apologizing for being assholes on my live stream. And can you please, unblock me? I can't. Once you're blocked for life. Um, let's see. Where is the best dive in the Philippines? Liveaboard. Man, I'm the wrong person to ask. I'm a diver. I've been diving for 40 years, but I've only dove maybe 5 or 6 times since I've been here. I'm not really into it anymore. I'd rather just go snorkeling. But in Darwin, there's some good diving. I hear Apple Island, which I can see from my backyard, is supposed to be good diving there. But that's really all I know. Just Google it. My housekeeper just left 4 hours of deep cleaning and meal prep, protein, carbs, and veggies, $24 from Dillon, Columbia. Wow. Jimmy Masters, hey Mark, happy Thanksgiving. Are you having turkey dinner this year? Believe you and you said there was a place in Duma that has it every year. Yeah, all the restaurants here have Thanksgivings. They all have some kind of an event. Sideways is one that has a really nice one. That's in Dumaguete. We usually have them cater our Thanksgiving, but this year we're going to go to dinner with some friends at a restaurant in Darwin. Let's see, men had enough. Exit. Michael Jeffrey. Hello, everyone watching this live chat. Thank you for watching, Michael. Gary, if you have to have major surgery, would you have surgery in the States or Philippines? That's a really good question, Gary. Let's see. Depends on the surgery. Like, if I had to have heart surgery again, which I'd quadruple by, first I wouldn't do it. I've told people that before. I just wouldn't go through that again. Say hip replacement, something like that, which my father had done when he was about my age, or actually younger. I'd go to Thailand for that. There is a good hospital in Manila called St. Luke's, and I've heard really good things about it. It's supposed to be one of the best hospitals in all of Asia, and you can go there. The hospitals here in Dumaguete, I think, are good for basic stuff, especially for like motorcycle accidents and stuff like they deal with all the time, and delivering babies, things like that, minor stuff. But I wouldn't go there for heart trouble or cancer or anything like that. My friend Robert had cancer. He went all the way back to America and got sorted out there, but he had really good insurance that covered him. So yeah, probably I would go to either Manila to St. Luke's, or I'd go to Thailand. I wouldn't go to America. Too expensive. I've got Medicaid or Medicare. I dropped Medicare Part B. But it's not just that you've got Medicare to go back to America. You got to find a place to stay, and you got all your expenses while you're there. So it adds up a lot. So it's almost cheaper to just go to Thailand. Oh, watching from Alaska, Julin and Jeff. Love Alaska. Beautiful state. Beautiful. David, hi Mark. I'm already starting to drink for St. Patrick's Day. Happy Thanksgiving. I don't even remember what St. Patrick's Day is. Luke, happy Thanksgiving. Thank you so much. Monty, just found your channel a few weeks ago. Thanks for sharing such interesting insight. Well, thank you so much. If you guys got any ideas for, I do the talking head videos, which just mean like I talked about why older men are staying single. And I talked about why younger women are dating older men. If you got something, an idea along that line, I could just do a talking head video. And like I do the research on it, and then I write it, and then I do it. But I'm always looking for ideas too. So if you got an idea, just shoot it to me in an email. Let's see, you are back. Yeah, I had a phone call there, and somebody was at the door. Never found out who that was. We're still here. All good. Did not even have to call Houston. Let's see. Washington, Indiana. I was born in Indiana, Terre Haute, Indiana. We got a lot of relatives in Indiana. Abba Thoughts Official. First time I've been able to catch one of your live streams. This is fun. Well, thank you for watching. Appreciate it. How has your relationship with Jen's family evolved over the years? It's really good. We see them all the time. We saw them yesterday, and her mom loves looking after Rogan. And so it's so convenient. Like yesterday, we had all these errands to run. When you got a baby and you're going to, the post office and, the bank and this and that and all these, around, and, he cries and stuff. So you drop him off at grandma's house, pick him up when we're done. It's so much easier, and he's happy to be there. Or sometimes she even comes over here and spends the night. Like tonight when we go to Thanksgiving dinner, we'll drop Rogan off at Grandma's house, and just makes so much easier. They have family, and we got a really good relationship with their family. Really good. It gets better all the time. Um, let's see, William. Hey, Mark, our neighbor passed away just last month, but the funeral wake is ongoing. Is this normal in Philippines? I'm thinking that 1 to 2 months is too much. Really? I never heard that. I never heard that, William. Um, I've never been to a funeral here. You see them all the time because they drive real slow down the main highway here. It'd be a whole line of cars and buses and stuff all going to the cemetery or the church, wherever they're going. But no, I haven't been to a funeral here. Had a dead guy wash up on our beach a few months ago, though. One day I looked out, there's all these people on the beach behind my house, and there was a dead guy laying there. Apparently he was a fisherman that drowned. Let's see. Um, so when you get something fixed by someone, they deliver it to your house. How convenient. Well, not really. Like I'm getting my fan fixed. I take it off the stand and I dropped it off at the repair shop in town. And that's what's nice about the Philippines. They fix stuff here. And so, a fan, I guess the salt water probably gets to it, the salt air, and eventually they just corrode up and die. Take it down there and they fix it and go pick it up. Probably cost me like $10, cheaper than buying a new fan. I'm getting my car fixed too. I had a cracked windshield because a rock flew up and hit me on my windshield. My brand new car cracked it. So I had to look all over to find a place to fix my windshield. Finally found a place, and they're ordering a windshield from China, and should be in the next couple of days to get my windshield replaced. And then I have scratches on my car from various things, brand new car, so I'm getting those all fixed next week too. So let's see, what are the top 3 ways an expat can invest in the Philippines, Filipina's long-term future? That's a really good question, Michael. That's a really good question. It depends on your financial situation, what you can afford to do. What a lot of guys do, I think this is the fallback of what most guys do, is they build a house or buy a house. And then when they're gone, she's got a place to live, and they don't have like the huge property taxes they have here. So once a girl or a family has a house, they can usually hang on to it pretty easily. And then the other thing is just put money in the cash is the best thing. Just put money in the bank don't buy a business. Like a lot of guys will start a sorry store for some girl and her family, and they don't make any money. They're buying stuff at full retail, then marking it up, 10, 20%, and then selling it to their neighbors. You can't make any money selling stuff to Filipinos. So stay away from businesses. Stay away from any kind of business she wants to start. Forget about that. I don't know anybody whose Filipino wife or girlfriend has started a business where it's worked out. 99% of them fail. So I would just either property or just cash is the best thing. Money in the bank. Let's see. There's several restaurants in Manila serving turkey dinner today. Amazing. Yeah, there's lots of them here. Like all the major restaurants here have a Thanksgiving day. Most of them are reservation only though. They're charging like 1,000 pesos a head too, which is like $20. CBL Daddy, Mark Zuckerberg was in Mar-a-Lago meeting with Trump earlier today. Could be big. I don't know. I don't know what to think about all this stuff, really don't. I don't really have a comment on that. Hub K, hey Mark, good morning. When will be your Christmas party in your house with close friends and relatives, ham and barbecue sessions? We haven't decided yet. We always do a Christmas party. We're skipping Thanksgiving this year because Jen didn't want to do a Christmas party. Probably what I'll do is I'll talk to all my friends, see what they want to do, and they can get together and we can just have it at our house, and then everybody kind of chip in and do whatever they want to do. Like last time, like the girls want to play games and they do karaoke and the guys want to go swimming. So we'll probably do something, but I'll kind of leave it up to my friends to what they want to do. And they're really good because my friends come over here and like, they come over here for dinner and stuff. It's like the girls wash the dishes at the end of the night. The guys are help cleaning stuff up. And, when they all leave, it's like, nobody was even here. They put everything back. It's really nice friends. So we'll do something, but I don't know as far as the date or stuff. I'll have to talk to everybody and see what they want to do. Uh, or 212. Yeah, I do my best to be polite and never share as I work at a grocery store and don't. Whoops. Let's see. Uh, okay, sorry, it skipped on me, so I don't want to miss any comments. I do my best to be polite and never stare as I work at a grocery store and don't want to get fired. Lots of luck. Yeah. Okay. Another blogger said that and headed to Thailand. Thailand has a lot to going for it. I mean, better infrastructure for the money. Say you got $500 budget for an apartment, you actually get a much nicer apartment in most places in Thailand than you would in the Philippines. You know, let's say you compare Bangkok to Manila. You get a much nicer apartment in Bangkok for the same amount of money, with more amenities like you'd have, a coffee pot and a cooker and microwave and all this stuff. And everything's usually new. Food is good over there. Food's great there. Nice malls, shopping center. The roads are better. The only problem is the language. You know, the language, and they keep changing the visa requirements over there. So if you want to just come and just live in Thailand, it's not as easy as you think it is. You have to make these visa runs across the border over to Vietnam or someplace, and then come back, and they can cut you off anytime they want. So I prefer the Philippines because you can stay here for 3 years on a tourist visa, and the main thing is they speak English here. That's the big thing. Um, you must have other issues. What is a dangerous situation you've had faced before that you will never forget? Hmm, interesting question. Dangerous situation. Hmm. Um, probably when I was in Utah and we were exploring a canyon called Heaps Canyon. Very dangerous. In order to get in there, you have to have a special permit from Zion National Park. Even the rangers can't get in there. It's such a difficult climb. And I was traveled with, or went in there with an expert rock climber, friend of mine, Mike, who was like, who used to work for me actually. And then my friend Bo, who taught survival to the Air Force and stuff. He was like a big rock climber, explorer. So the three of us climbed to the top of Angel's Landing in Zion National Park, and then we rappelled down into a canyon. And it was like 2 days of going through this slot canyon, and you're dropping into pools of ice cold water. Because slot canyon, so the sun only hits the water, at the bottom of the canyon at noon. The rest of the time it's cold, even though you're in Utah where it's hot. And then at the very end, you've got a cliff that's probably, I don't know, 1,000 feet, and we had to rappel down that cliff, and it was really hairy, very, very dangerous. But it's something I never would have attempted if I hadn't had two expert guys, one in front of me, one behind me. They were kind of looking after me. But that's probably it. Um, Eric, hi from an expat in Cebu. You're a great host, mainly because of your voice. I believe your voice would fit in the radio or television show. Well, thank you so much. I did do radio for a while, Dr. Stan Frager show, where I was a co-host. But I started out as a intern, and then within 3 months I was executive producer because all the other interns were college kids and they didn't want to work. I took it seriously, came in there every day, and did it for a couple of years. So that's how I learned a little bit about radio. And then on cruise ships, we had little TV shows and radio shows. I used to get involved with those sometimes too. But thank you so much. Um, in every country, what is the cost of living? That's kind of an open-ended question there, 100. I don't know. I mean, depends on you and what your tastes are, what your budget is. But vaguely, I think you can live here comfortably. Simple apartment, nothing fancy, just a motorbike. Probably $1,500 a month would cut it. 2,000 is better. If you got 2,000 a month here with no bills to pay back home, you'll do fine here. You'll be great. You'll be golden. Let's see. Terre is close to me. Yeah, Terre, Indiana. That's where I grew up. Didn't grow up. We left. I was 5 years old. We moved to Cincinnati. Uncle Buck. Hi there. I'm Chris from Australia. Love the show. Hope to chat sometime when I come over next year. Cheers, man. Yeah, please look me up. A lot of Australians over here, and they just love it here. This house I live in right now is owned by a gentleman from Australia. He'll be back in a couple of weeks. Chad, gentleman reincarnated. Are you a PDF file? I don't understand what that means. Let's say Jimmy Masters, why men aren't getting married anymore. It might be an anomaly in the Philippines, but I think in the US there isn't a good reason. There's a lot going on there. I've done some research into this, especially with the younger guys. A lot of these men, they don't have any social skills. They grew up with texting and computers and stuff, and you know, they don't have the courage to walk up to a strange girl and ask her out, or at a party or at a bar or whatever, you know, and talk to her. They want to do everything online, some kind of website. But a lot of these guys are just watching porn and playing video games, and they haven't been on a date their whole life. I've talked to young guys, you know, good-looking guys with a job and everything, and they just never been on a date. It's just like this weird. It's not just in America; it's in Japan. A lot of countries, guys are just losing interest. And that's one of the reasons that, since there's not a lot of guys to choose from, especially, you know, they want a guy, women want a guy that's got a job and, you know, decent looking, things like that, good personality. They're starting to date older men, because the older men, you know, they're not afraid to talk to somebody in person. But I don't know what's going on, but it's happening around the world. Rose Holman University. Ron Lawson. Hey, Mark, is there an expat community center there, and can do you think it would be a good to have in Vlogga in Dumagetti? Expat, there's I don't think there's an expat community center, but there are lots of expat groups on Facebook. There's bunches of them, so you can join one of those and meet a bunch of guys that way. Spliff Star. If you have a baby with a Filipina girl in the Philippines and you give the baby your last name, is the baby a dual citizen, American citizen too? It's not automatic. You have to, like I mentioned before, jump through some hoops. So with Rogan, you know, he was born here, Filipino passport, Filipino birth certificate. Then we had to make an appointment with the consulate in Cebu, drive all the way to Cebu, which is a 6-hour drive, one ferry boat on the way there, and then be interviewed at the embassy, and also bring all of the records from the hospital when my wife was pregnant, when he was born, pictures of us, pictures of the family, all this stuff to prove that he was my son. And then once we did all that, and then he paid the fee for the passport, American passport, and the birth abroad birth certificate. They don't come together. And so like 3 months later, we finally got his passport, American passport. And it's only good for 5 years if it's a child. And then a few months later, we got the American birth certificate. So we have both of those. And then you have to take, so now once we got that passport, boom, he's an American citizen, but he doesn't have a social security number yet. So you have to apply for that. But in order to apply for that, you got to send both of his passports, American and Filipino, both of his birth certificates to Manila, to the embassy there. And then they send it to America. And then America comes up with the social security number, which they send back to Manila, and Manila sends it to you. And you're talking 150 days. So anyway, it ain't easy, but yeah, it's kind of automatic, I guess. But yeah, it's all three of my children have dual citizenship. My daughters have British and American, and of course Rogan has Filipino and American. Yes, Pippa, you have to do a lot of paperwork at birth as an American. True. Thanks, Chad. Chad, gentleman, reincarnated. There's a declaration process of dual citizenship, and it's best that you do that quickly, because that privilege of American citizen from abroad might be struck down by Congress. Yep, that's true. There's a lot of countries, you know, where you're born there. Say Saudi Arabia is a good example. If you were born in Saudi Arabia, let's say you're from Philippines or America or wherever, you are not a Saudi citizen. You never will be. And a lot of countries like that, like being born there doesn't make you a citizen. America is kind of an exception to that. Let's see. My pleasure. Best of luck. Harvey, if a Filipino is married to an expat and owns the house, what happens if the wife dies? That's a good question. And I actually know of a situation where there's a gentleman I met several years ago, had a beautiful big home way up on the mountain near the Japanese shrine in Valencia. And he was an older guy, like 70, kind of very eccentric, and a big house, but it had a thatched roof on it. And a wife put a thatched roof on it, but he did, like you see in England. Anyway, the roof leaked. House was like filthy, stuff all over the place, piled everywhere. He'd been living there by himself since his wife died of cancer, and she was only 40. He's like 70. But anyway, what happened was her family tried to get the house from him, even though he paid for the house, paid for the property, everything. And they were trying everything they could to get the house from him. Eventually he died, and I think they got the house eventually. But yeah, you don't have any, you know, claim to it, I guess. If she dies, I think her family could go after it. But there's ways where you can get a 50-year lease or something. There's ways around that. You have to talk to a lawyer. But that's one reason why I'm not interested in owning property here or buying a house here until they change the rules. If we ever bought something here, we probably would put it in Rogan's name. But anyway, yeah, I just wouldn't do it here until they change the laws. Spiff Star, hey Mark, what are your sipping on the silver jug? Any traditional Filipino drinks you like? Never had baba tea. No, I drink Lipton iced tea with ice and a little bit of honey. That's it. That's what I drink all day long. A little bit of iced tea. You know, I don't. I drink. Every once in a while I have a Coke. Every once at night I have a beer, or a glass of wine, or something. But I drink iced tea with a tiny bit of honey in it all day long. Let's see. Harvey, it goes to the children if there are any. Yeah, so that's a good point. If they got children, it goes to the children. So if you don't have children, I don't know what happens then. Um, my dream is to get my first car and visit Japan sometime. You can drive to Japan? I've never been to Japan. One country I've never been to. I've heard they're very picky about their cars over there. I heard that when a Japanese guy buys a car, they bring like a ruler with them, and they're measuring all the gaps in the doors and the hood and everything. It's got to be absolutely perfect. And whenever they find a car that, you know, the gap's not exactly even on the door, they ship it to America and sell it to Americans. But yeah, they're real picky about their cars. I like Japanese cars. I owned a lot of Japanese cars. Let's see, are there any good car rental shops in Dumaguete? I don't have motorcycle license. They don't care if you have a motorcycle license, they'll rent to you anyway. My driver's license is actually car only, and I've been stopped by the police and I gave it to them. They didn't even look for the motorcycle endorsement, so I wouldn't worry about that. Yeah, there are. As a matter of fact, I'm working on that now because when I get my car fixed, they're going to need it for 4 days at the body shop, and they're going to get me a rental car. And I don't know what it'll cost, but yeah, they're not a lot of them like Hertz or nothing like that. They're all like mom and pop operations. But yeah, you can rent a car here. We did it once before. We rented a car and drove all the way to Cebu in it, and turned out to be a crappy car because one of the front wheel was attached with just two lug nuts, and one of those broke and the wheel came off. So, but yeah, you can rent cars here, and motorcycles and motorbikes you can rent everywhere. They're everywhere. It's cheap. I highly recommend if you're going to come over here, don't buy anything. Rent a car, rent a motorcycle. A motorcycle, you can get one for, or motorbike for say $100 a month, a little more than $100 a month, insured and everything. Car, I'm not sure. You're gonna probably pay, $20 a day or something. Let's see. John, Maria, and Mindanao. In my case, I had a lawyer draw up a document that I would have to use as long as I'm alive, then our house will go to her son. Okay, yeah. Yeah, you want to get a lawyer involved. I'll tell you, any of that stuff, get a lawyer involved. And lawyers are inexpensive here. You can get a lawyer for, $10, an hour. You're good in Thailand on a retirement visa, tourist visa, not so much. Yeah, retirement visa, same thing here, but they're so expensive. It's like $10,000. You got to put that in the bank and leave it there. Um, and I'm not sure what the deal is in Thailand, but yeah, you want to get a retirement visa. Tourist visas, they keep changing the rules over there. Here in the Philippines, they were cracking down a little bit on tourist visas. People that are here for years. I know guys been here 17 years on a tourist visa, and so they were cracking down on it, but now they've eased it back up again. So as long as you walk in, you're presentable, and you're doing everything the way you're supposed to do, they're not going to kick you out. You can stay here 3 years on a tourist visa. Let's see. Are you able to carry just like in the state? You mean a gun? No, absolutely not. You can't own a gun. You can't buy a gun. Your wife can, but you can't. No, I can't speak any Philippine language. I lived in Mexico, Newman, for over a year. Plus, I spent a lot of time in South America, 1,000 miles up the Amazon River, all over South America. And I can't speak Spanish. I tried. And so to learn, and the Philippines, it makes no sense because, here in Negros, Negros Oriental, they speak Bisaya. If you go to Negros Oriental, the other side of the island, they speak Tagalog. And there's like 12 different languages here in the Philippines. So it makes no sense to learn a language over here. You're better off with English. Uh, Management in the U.S. There's a lot of news about the Philippine VP president having a conflict. Hope it doesn't escalate. Yeah, apparently what happened there, she was afraid that she was going to get knocked off, and so she made a public statement. Well, if I get killed, I've already paid an assassin to kill, Marcos and his family, and so that was kind of a stupid thing to say. And I don't know where that's going to go. I don't really keep up with Philippine politics. I can tell you though, when I was living here, it was like 2 or 3 years ago, the governor of Negros Oriental was assassinated. These guys were dressed up as police officers. They show up in a van at his house, which is highly protected, the governor's house. They had security and everything. They were dressed as police officers. They let them in. And as soon as they got in, he was having a little event, like a little presentation to a group of people, including women and children. And these guys just pulled their guns out, boom, shot him and shot several of the civilians that were there. I'm not sure if they ever really caught the guys that did it. I've heard various stories that the guys they caught were patsies, and so who knows. But it's rare that those things happen over here. It's very rare. But violence is just something that's rare in the Philippines. Anyway, I don't think it's going to happen. But he's well protected. Pub K, is it possible side for is it is it positive side for you that the convention, the conversion of dollars by your pension can do a lot, or is it negative side that inflation rate? It doesn't really affect me because I'm on Social Security. I don't have a pension. And right now the exchange rate's really good. It could change at any time, but I don't really depend on my Social Security. I mean, it's kind of extra money for us. For me, it's like I live off YouTube. Let's see. How do you self-insure or have a health plan? We've got Phil Health, which was like $700 a year for the whole family, but it only covers like 25%. The good thing about Phil Health, though, is if you have a heart attack or accident and you've got that card with you, they will let you into the hospital, check you in. And so you don't have to prove anything. You can get admitted. Otherwise, in the Philippines, you got to pay as soon as they take you in there. You got to start paying immediately. And a lot of times they won't treat you. I know guys that had a bad motorcycle accident, broken leg, broken arm, laying there in the gurney in the hallway, and they wouldn't do anything until he came up with some money. And I had to take 80,000 pesos one time down to a hospital like 10 o'clock at night for one of my neighbors who had a bad motorcycle accident, and they wouldn't do nothing for him until he got the money. That's one of the bad things about the Philippines. You got to pay up front. It's like when my wife had her cesarean, we're waiting for her to have the baby, and the doctor says this isn't going to happen. I think she needs a cesarean. So fine, let's go give her a cesarean. And so they put her in a gurney and take her downstairs. And then they called me up in the room, said, Miss Thorne, you got to come down to Billy. And I had to go down there and pay for it before they did the operation. I don't know what would have happened if I didn't have the money. Was she going to let her die? What were they going to do? So that is, one of the negative things about the Philippines. So what guys do here, have a credit card in your wallet with a bunch of, it's got $5,000 limit on it, whatever, and they'll take a credit card and you can just pay with a credit card. And it's actually because things are so inexpensive here compared to America. Instead of paying like say $300 a month for health insurance, and then you got a deductible off that, then usually you gotta pay the bills, and you gotta try and get the money back from the insurance company. It's just easier to self-insure over here. Let's see. It's 2,000 now, but at 3.5 years, it's going to be 2,500 or 3,000 with inflation. Okay. Michael, how's Dennis doing? I'm waiting for an interview 3 with him. I haven't seen Dennis and Dan, two of my friends, the first guys I ever interviewed. They were guys I met. Like Dan actually owned the Airbnb or built the Airbnb that I stayed at when I first moved here. And he's kind of an eclectic guy, and so is Dennis. Anyway, I ran into him about a year ago, and they said, "Oh, we want to do another interview, a joint interview with you." I said, "Great," but one of them was getting his teeth worked on or something. Said after my teeth are taken care of, we'll do it. And I never heard back from him. So every time I see him, because Dennis lives up in the mountains at a farm, and Dan lives, up in the mountain in Valencia someplace. But I see him say, "Yeah, you want to do an interview? Let me know." And they never contact me. So I don't know if I'll ever be doing another one with Dennis or not. Hey, Brian, nice to see you. I disagree about difficulty living in Thailand, less English in other provinces and in the outer provinces, more creature comforts in the expat areas like the Philippines. Philippine English is almost perfect either. Yeah, Filipino English is not perfect. You're right. So anyway, Brian lives in Thailand, and he's telling you that it's really not a problem there. When I was there at Bangkok with my wife, about a year ago, it was really nice. We liked Bangkok, had a wonderful time, but I still was struggling with the language. I remember I went to a 7-Eleven. I was going to buy a cup of coffee, and this pot's sitting right there. I want a cup of coffee, and he couldn't understand me. And we had the same problem with the food court in the mall, and also with the taxi driver. I got in, said airport, and he took me to the railroad station. So, you know, but it's it's each his own. But Thailand is definitely a step above Philippines with infrastructure and everything. And now they've got legalized marijuana, which a lot of the young people want that. And it's more of a party place. A lot, you want all the girls and the party and the bars and stuff. There's more of that in Thailand than there is here in the Philippines. But yeah, I like Thailand, but for me, the Philippines is a better fit. Yeah, I haven't been interested in doing dating for a while now. I keep getting rejected, so gave up. Getting rejected. Well, that's too bad. Rejection's all part of it, though. It's all part of. You have to think about, why did she reject me? What was the reason behind it? Sometimes it's your approach, whatever. But nowadays, everybody meets online, and I tell people, go online if you're here, meet a girl that's local, that's where you are, not on some other island, and just meet her for coffee and casually get to know her. And if it doesn't work out, meet somebody else. And that's how I met my wife. That's how most of my friends have met their wives. But it makes it so much easier. But these women want to be courted. Don't move too fast and take your time getting to know them, and it'll work out. You'll find somebody. Don't give up. Um, does Philippines have good coffee? They grow coffee up on the mountain here. Been there. It's okay. And there's another coffee shop here where the guys are like really into coffee. Like he believes like roasting the beans the exact same day you make the coffee. But yeah, you can get good coffee here. Jimmy Masters, I'm visiting the Philippines for a month as an exploratory visit. Should I set up a couple of potential dates to meet and see if we have a connection, or wait until I get there and get on the apps? I think that's a good idea to meet a couple girls online and tell them. You got to be totally honest with them, Jimmy, and say like, I'm coming to the Philippines and hope to meet somebody, and we can get together for a cup of coffee. You're not like boyfriend girlfriend, because sometimes you especially if it goes on for a couple of months with one of these girls, when you arrive and she meets you at the airport or wherever, gives you a big hug, and in her mind you're boyfriend and girlfriend already. It's already happened. So you got to kind of play that delicately. It might be better to wait till you get here, get settled in, get yourself a Airbnb or wherever you're going to stay, and then start looking for women who are in your area, and just meet them for coffee and take your time, and if it works out, take them to dinner and a movie, and it'll all work out. If you had a chance to start over at 40, what would you do? At 40. See, when I was 40, that's when I was at the peak of my career. I was at the peak of my career working on cruise ships, making the most money I ever made, and everything was going great for me. Um, but if I was 40 right now, I would do exactly what I'm doing now, blogging. That's what I would do. YouTube. That's what I would do. I love doing it. It's your own business, your own show. You can be your own boss, and so to me, it's great. And I would just keep doing this and expand it even more. But that's what I would do. I'd stay right here doing this. And of course, investments, just invest in blue chip companies, save your money. Uh, Philippines is more expensive than people realize. This is true, especially like medicines. I've talked about this before, but medicines are more expensive here. Like the blood pressure medicine that I take at Walmart, 3 month supply, $12 here, 20 pills, $20. And so, some things are more. Anything that's imported from America, you're going to pay a lot more for, obviously, because it's imported. You ever been to mainland China or Taiwan? No, I have not. Never been there. Check the rental motorcycle paperwork. My friend rented one and found it wasn't insured. Okay. Sorry, my nose is itching. Yeah, so I don't know. I've never had any problem with motorcycles here. When you register a motorcycle anyway, it's automatically insured. You don't have any choice. Like when I register my motorcycle, they automatically have the insurance on there. So I think if a motorcycle that you're renting is registered, it should have insurance already. I've only been to Mexico and Canada other than the US. Well, both great places. Too legit and fit. In Thailand, there's a large Indian community in Bangkok. Are there any foreign communities in the Philippines? Heard there are a lot of Koreans in Pampanga. Yeah, apparently there's a lot of Chinese and Koreans here, but not where we are. I haven't really seen that many of them. So there could be, but I haven't seen that many. Hold on one second, adjust the fan. There we go. Okay. Let's see. Uncle Buck, one more question, Mark. Can I import my motorbike to the Philippines? It's a 2008 Kawasaki 1400 Cruiser. Is there a big cost? Does it go on weight problem? Go for 6 months? I know guys that have done that. I've seen guys that have done it. They brought their Harleys over here, brought cars over here. I wouldn't recommend it. It's going to cost you probably more than that motorcycle's worth to get it over here. And then getting it registered is a real pain in the ass. Like, for example, this guy I met who had a Shelby sports car brought over from America. And in order to get it registered, they had to send a group of like 5 people from Manila. He paid for their flights and hotels and everything to come over and inspect the car in Dumaguete so he could drive it. It's just a real pain in the ass. I mean, that motorcycle, I would sell it where you are or store it or whatever and come over here. You can buy something that's similar. And first of all, 1400 is way too big a bike to have over here. You don't need a bike that big. You're usually going like 40 miles an hour here. And if it tips over on you, it's hard to pick it up on these bad roads. I would downsize, 250 is all you need, 350 maximum. I had a 400, it was too much power. So it's up to you, but I wouldn't advise doing it. I really wouldn't. In case of accident, I don't think insurance would pay hospital bills or other damage if you don't have the motorcycle endorsement. I couldn't answer that question. I don't know. I mean, I think they just, if motorcycle's registered, it should be covered. It should have nothing to do with your driver's license. Health insurance, 500 a month or more in US. Yep. I got lucky with me when I had my heart surgery because it was at a point in my life when I was at my absolute worst financially. All these bad things had happened to me. and then on top of everything else, bankruptcy and divorce and all kinds of bad stuff, I had a heart attack. And it was right before that happened, Obamacare came out, and you had to register online. There's only certain times like you could register, like they had windows or whatever. And so I went online and registered for it because I was like 62, I guess. And maybe I was less than 62. I was younger than that. Anyway, I registered online, and because I wasn't working and I wasn't on a ship because of my heart, and I was in between jobs, literally I was surviving by selling my stuff on eBay, my art collection and my personal possessions. That's how I was surviving, selling my stuff off. Like a death by 1,000 cuts. Anyway, I qualified for Medicaid, and so did everything. Sent me the card, and then a few weeks later, I ended up having quadruple bypass surgery, which was like the bill was like $500,000, and I got lucky. Medicaid paid for all of it, so I got lucky there. And then once I turned 62, they took me off Medicaid, put me on Medicare, and with Medicare Part B, and I was paying $180 a month for that. But yeah, $500 a month for insurance is crazy. That's huge. And then it doesn't cover everything. If it covered everything, that would be fine, but it only covers 80%. Great show, new subscriber. How can I donate? Do you have Super Chat? Yeah, they got Super Chat. Easiest thing is PayPal. I've got PayPal in my, if you click on more, it shows my PayPal, markfthorne.yahoo.com, same with my email. That's the best way, because Super Chat, they take 40%. YouTube does. But yeah, thank you for even thinking about it. Good evening from Norway. I love Norway. I was, my first ship was the Royal Viking Sky, Norwegian ship, Norwegian cruise line. Everybody on the ship, and the captain all the way down, was Norwegian. Handful of foreigners on board, all in the entertainment department, which is what I was doing. I was in the entertainment department, and I just loved it. I love Norway. I love the Norwegians. Everything about it. Just such a beautiful, clean country. I really like Norway a lot. My neighbor here, next door neighbors from Norway. Is there a social club there? If there is, Robert, I don't know anything about it, but there might be. I know there's a lot of groups on Facebook. Are the neighborhoods there you ought to avoid? Nope. James, I cannot think of a single neighborhood here on this island that is dangerous. You can go to the poorest place where people are living in cardboard shacks and walk in there 10 o'clock at night. They're going to, who are you? What are you doing here? They'll be curious, but nobody's going to try and rob you. I just, here, poor does not equal crime. Whereas in America, you go to a poor neighborhood in LA or Chicago or anywhere else, chances are there'll be drug addicts and criminals there. But here, not so. So I can't think of any place that I would avoid. You go to the boulevard, Friday night, walk around. Nobody's going to try and rob you. Nobody's going to try and take advantage of you. There's nobody smoking, nobody drunk, nobody doing drugs. Just families walking around, having a good time, kids playing volleyball, just very clean, family oriented, So we'll be talking to Joe Garcia. He is a friend. I don't know Joe Garcia. I don't think I know him. I don't know him. Yeah, the biggest mistake I made is diving into a relationship too fast in the Philippines. Yeah, take your time and let her know that you're just taking your time. So I just want to get to know each other, and I haven't dated in a while. I want to take my time and just be nice to her, and be honest and everything. And don't just ditch her though. If it didn't work out and you go out with her and you have no connection, just tell her that. The next day, say, look, I really enjoyed meeting you. We had a good time, but I'm sorry, it's just really not for me. I don't think we're a good match. Best of luck. Do it be a gentleman about it, but don't just ghost her. Don't do that. Let's see. Paul Revere. It can be easy to get a date, but the key is to find a quality woman from a good family. Biggest aspect is there are so many beautiful women here. It depends on where you settle, as Duma is very quiet. Yeah. Also, the women here in Dumaguete are not aggressive in any way. Like when I flew in here, I flew into Cebu when I first moved here, right? I didn't stay there, but I was there for a couple of days before I came to Dumaguete. I went to the mall to buy a SIM card for my phone, and literally these girls were following me all over. A little gaggle of girls following me around, asking me where I was from. Do you have a girlfriend? Why are you here? Are you married? Da, 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 da. At the hotel, the guy said, "Do you have a girlfriend?" And it was really in your face. I was really surprised. But to come here, that never happens. It never happens. You'll never see a girl come up to a guy here in the Philippines, here in Dumaguete. It's the other way around. You have to court them. Let's see. The silver jewelry guy. Do you pay taxes on your YouTube in the United States? Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I get a 1099, and I file my taxes on the IRS's website. Also, I got to pay taxes on my Social Security too. So I pay taxes on both. Victor, I work with a gal. One day I asked her out for coffee after work, beachside coffee shop, sat on the beach, watched the surfers, guys that lived in the work bunkhouse, surfer dudes. That's good for you. That's the way to do it. Let's see, Alan retired in the Philippines. Did you hear about the new YouTube feature coming? AI, artificial intelligence, will transfer your voice to many other languages in most countries. That will increase your channel. Yeah, I've heard about this, and a lot of guys are excited about it. It would give me a whole nother audience. And so it's kind of cool. So, for example, they would start promoting my show and people in like Brazil, and I would be talking, and somehow my voice would be speaking Portuguese, which is bizarre. So I think it would be really good for channels like mine, but other channels, if you've got a niche channel where you say teaching guitar or teaching language or whatever it is, it could hurt you. You have more competition. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I don't see how it happens to me and when it actually comes available, if they're going to charge for it or not. Let's see. Paul K. Yes, you pay U.S. taxes on any job you have, like YouTube or work online. Best to plan on how you want to live. Most of us here have budget around 2,000 U.S. dollars for nice lifestyle or more. BGC or Manila. I agree with him. 100%. That's so true. Yeah, you can't get away from paying taxes if you're an American. In some countries you'll pay taxes if you're working, and say in Germany, you're going to pay taxes in Germany, you're going to pay taxes in America too. So I'm what you call a digital nomad. And so I could take this channel and I could move to France and pick up my phone and keep right on going. Nothing would change at all. My taxes would stay the same, everything would stay the same. Let's see. Bamboo, Mark, I'm a digital nomad and want to stay in the Philippines long term. I don't want to stay in concrete jungle, but you said that they have brown outside the cities. What do you do? I like the beach. Yeah, the brownouts is a problem. We had one just the other day. The thing is, like, if you're going to live here, you can get a house and have solar. Like my friends that have solar, power goes out, they don't even notice. Because on the equator, you can run your whole house, electricity, your AC, everything on solar and have no bill at all. If you own your own house, you can do that. My friend Robert just did it. And then this place has a generator, which sometimes they turn on, sometimes they don't. Excuse me, depends on how long power is going to be out. But yeah, it's a problem. It is a problem. But it's just part of living in the Philippines. Like, they're working on it. I think they're going to be making it better. It doesn't happen, I don't think, as much in Cebu and hardly ever in BGC or Manila. But here in Bacong and Dumaguete, Valencia went out all the time. But here, I don't remember a month going by since I've lived here where we haven't had power go out at least once in a month. Just one of the things you put up with. I was in the Philippines for 3 months and seemed a lot of places had no grass. You're probably there during the dry season, which we just got over, like April. It's real dry then, like up on the mountain, everything was dry and brown. Then the rainy season comes and boom, it all turns lush and green. So you're just here during that time of year. That's when they have like the chocolate hills. They all turn brown during the dry season. The rest of the time they're green. I wouldn't worry about it. Victor, I was working forestry remote site in the mountains. I did have visitors there sometimes. Older fellow on a big Harley rode up, stayed a while. He walked back to his bike, got on it. That's like kind of a cool job. What's the time there? It is 10:20, 10:20, 10:18. The bike fell on him, pinned him. I came down, lifted the bike off of him. Tell you a story for me. When I bought my bike here, I hadn't ridden a motorcycle in probably 5 years. Bought a 400cc big bike, and it was loud as hell too. Because when I bought it, the guy had put one of those mufflers on there. It sounded like a 50 caliber submachine gun. It was embarrassing to drive to. It was so loud, like bap 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 bap. And so that was my first thing to try and find a new muffler for it. But anyway, it still had the loud muffler on. I was downtown going to immigration, which is a one-way street. And I always got confused down there. So when I first moved here, and I went the wrong way down a one-way street. So I had to do a U-turn in the middle of the street. And it's a busy, afternoon. I do the U-turn. Anyway, the bike tips over on me. I'm laying there in the middle of the road with this 400cc motorcycle on top of me, going bap, 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 bap. And nobody came to help me. There, people just looking at me, and trucks and cars driving around me because there's a lot of traffic. Eventually, I got out from under it and got the bike back up. But yeah, you don't want to have a heavy bike here. And then if you're out in the provinces someplace, some of these roads are really bad, like big rocks in the road and stuff. You're on a big bike and it throws you off, and you got to pick it back up. I mean, I would stay with something light. Let's see, Paul K. Only certain places like Mindanao are going into mountains where rebels live, as the State Department warns of some areas, but only crime is petty like pickpocket, but 100 times safer than USA. Yeah, I agree with you, 100 times safer than USA. I've heard about pickpockets too, but I've never seen any here, never heard of anybody being pickpocketed. And I leave my helmet on, I used to leave my helmet on a motorcycle, never had anything stolen. So yeah, crime here is nothing like America. It's way less, especially like the smash and grabs you see, and these people walking into Walgreens and just stuffing their backpacks with shit and walking out. That doesn't happen here. Nobody steals anything. They got security guards at every store because it's so cheap to hire a security guard. Offer to hear about the fire in Manila. Oh yeah, I heard about that. I didn't see much because we don't have the cable TV that shows the local news anymore. But yeah, I heard about that in the slum area, right? Yeah, that is terrible. I just hope that they rebuild it so it's nicer and it's more sanitary for the people that live there that lost their homes. Nathaniel Cook, no ghosting. I have two exes. I have both in my contacts. I will keep in touch and help them when I can. So the first ex blocked me for a few times. She has a temper. Yeah, I don't have any exes, but yeah, it's always best to be polite and be a gentleman. It's like things don't work out, just say it's not working out, and just move on. But like I'm divorced, and you'll never hear me say a bad word about my ex-wife. Never call her a name. Never disrespect her to anybody online, especially. And that's the way it should be, especially when you got children. Last thing you want to do is be saying nasty things about the mother of your children. What life brings with Iron Mike. I was in the Philippines 3 months. Seemed to like a lot. Oh, we had that already. I read that one already. Let's see. Amazing last days with Michael. My wife Miriam and I myself would like to wish you and your family a Merry Christmas to you and yours from I Miss Saveti, Philippines. Well, thank you so much. Very kind of you. It's going to be a fun Christmas because the first time we have a baby and buy toys for him and things. Looking forward to when he's a little bit older. We can buy trucks and cars and bow and arrows and shit. And I get a chance to play with all these boy toys because I had two daughters before, and it's hard to get excited when you're playing with Polly Pockets and Barbie dolls. So it'd be fun to have a son, and we can play with trucks and cars and go on the beach here and play in the sand. It's going to be good. 176 people. Make sure you hit the like button. Well, thank you so much. Hopefully the taxes and Social Security ends. Yeah, I think Trump was talking about that. I think Biden was too, about ending taxes on Social Security. That would be nice, not to pay taxes on Social Security. Also, state tax. Like I'm paying state tax in Louisville, Kentucky, because that was my address where I was having my mail sent at my mom's house, even though I wasn't living there. And there's no way around it. You can't say, well, I don't live in America. You've got to pay state taxes somewhere. And so I now have a mailing service that takes care of my mail. I think it's in North Carolina. So we'll see what my taxes are going to be like this year in North Carolina. Let's see. Mike, you love to travel. Hey, Mike. Hey, Mark. Mike here. Happy Thanksgiving from Pensacola, Florida. I love Pensacola, Florida. It's really nice down there. Florida's had a rough time over the last couple of years. Private Ross 99. I have opportunity to visit a Chinese woman in Qingdao. However, what scares me is the fact that Chinese ships have broken internet cables. Do you think it'd be safe to live in China? I don't know. I think there was a lot of guys living in China, especially people teaching English, but they kind of kicked all of them out. And I think they're kind of anti-American right now. So I don't know if I would go live in China. A lot of corruption over there. Um, I don't know. I wouldn't do it. But it's up to you. If you met somebody, go over there and find out. Keep an open mind and just be careful and respect their laws because they will throw you in jail if you break the law over there. Let's see, Victor. I pay taxes on my pension. I get 1099 also. Yeah, it doesn't seem fair. Social Security, like it's my money that was a tax. They took it away from me. So you pay taxes on it once and you pay taxes on it again. So I don't know. Always pay taxes, don't you? James, is Cebu overrated or underrated? Heard the ocean pollution there is getting worse. I've never been to the ocean in Cebu. I've just been to the city there. I've driven the whole from the southern end all the way to the northern end, right up to Cebu City. I've done it on both sides of the island. And I'm just not a big fan of Cebu. I mean, the traffic, the roads, the city, you've got all the amenities there, nice malls, a lot of restaurants, better shopping there. It's more expensive there for apartments than here. And I don't like driving over there at all. It's just too hectic for me. But I don't know what the beaches are like. I've never been to a beach in Cebu, so I couldn't answer that. But it isn't for me. It's not for me. Paul, I guess because I look younger, because women do approach me all the time here in Dumaguete. As cute one just approached me by Casablanca as my girlfriend works, as most expats have Filipina glued to them. Oh, good for you. You must be a good-looking guy. Well, why haven't you been on my show, Paul? Have you been on my show? I can see your picture, a little picture of you, so I can't tell what you look like. But let's get together and do an interview, huh? Since you've been here, send me an email or a Facebook message. It's in all my videos. Just click on more and see my email there. We'll get together. What life brings with Iron Mike. Where can one buy a lawnmower in Philippines? Ask in hardware stores, did not see one. They've got one here. My groundskeeper has a Husqvarna lawnmower. It's a good one too. It's quiet. You just buy them online. Buy them online on Lazada or Shopee. Either one, no problem. Victor, my remote workstation in the mountains. Sometimes state police, wildlife officer would show up, glass the area. Okay, just looking to see what's going on, I guess, huh? Paul, certain things could bother you here, like stray dogs. Yeah, stray dogs are a problem. Traffic, trash, longer queues, but there are trade-offs. But so much better here, as no stress. Weather is great. 90s time, and it's like 60s or 70s. Yeah, it's usually in the 80s here. Yeah, it depends on where you live. Like in BGC, I noticed there were no stray dogs, no tricycles in the roads, no wires hanging down in the streets. Here on Negros, you'll be driving along and you'll see a wire hanging down, in the road. I was driving along a couple of years ago on National Highway, and there's a wire hanging down, a black wire, not a thick one, like about the same size as an extension cord, I guess, a little thicker than that. And this girl hit it, knocked her right off her bike. And I had a friend of mine, his mirror ripped off his car. You'll see a lot of wires hanging down here, especially in the provinces. But the stray dogs, there's a lot of them here. In Dumaguete, there's a lot of them. They're everywhere. Like if I drive from my house to the highway, which is like half a kilometer, it's a dirt road, I'll probably see 10 dogs on the way there. And so they're not too bad though. Sometimes they'll bark at night, but usually, they're quiet. We have 3 dogs here, which they're not too much of a trouble. Every once in a while they'll bark. But yeah, the dogs are a problem. So Mark, do you do your taxes, your own taxes, and do you just go online? I do them my own. I just use the program that, whatever it is on IRS's website. Actually, last year I didn't do the IRS's website because they changed things. They have this new thing called ID Me, where you have to prove who you are. I couldn't get it to work. I sent them everything like my passport, my driver's license. They wanted my birth certificate. They said, we need a picture of the front of your birth certificate and the back of your birth certificate. I got my original birth certificate from 1955. And the back of it is just brown paper. And so I sent in the pictures. They said, oh, sorry, we can't read the picture on the back of your birth certificate. So there is nothing on the back of the birth certificate. It's brown paper. Anyway, I could never get it done. And so I ended up going with Free Tax USA. And so now I use them instead of the IRS. I had an account with them for years. And I always did my taxes on the IRS's website. That way there's no, there's no mistakes. Everything's white. It's all cool, done with the government. But now I can't do that anymore. Anyway, when I had my roller skating rink and I was working on ships, I had a professional accountant then, and he did everything for me. He was retired with the IRS for 12 years. He used to save me a lot of money. Mail-in service, how does that work? I've got traveling mailbox, which was recommended to me by Geo. Make sure you check out his channel, Geo in the Philippines. And it's really good. You sign up for it, and your mail is sent to them. And when you get a letter, they send you an email with a picture of the envelope, and you can either have it shredded, you can hold it, you can have it opened up and scanned and emailed to you what's inside. And if there's something that you want actually sent to you, they'll mail it to you in the Philippines. You're gonna pay for it, but they'll mail it to you. Say it's a credit card or something like that. So far, so good. I got it all set up, and so I'm happy with it. Alan, be very careful driving here. Lots of wild dogs, no road rules like in the States. Drive on the wrong side of the road, cut in front of you, half drive at night with no lights, light poles 3 feet in the road. Yeah, they expanded National Highway here, made it bigger, put cat's eyes in and lights and stuff. And then they got a phone pole, literally, that was there on the old road. And it's 4 feet into the right lane in the middle of the road. There's a phone pole there. And the road just goes around it. So, and they put some orange stripes on it. But if you don't see it, you're going to slam right into that phone pole. And then when there's construction, sometimes a lane will just end and there's a big hole with gravel and stuff. And they might put a piece of yellow plastic on it, no lights or nothing. So you got to be real careful. The right lane is dangerous. You're going to be real careful in the right lane. And then, of course, people driving the wrong way. In the right lane, they drive the wrong way. And they think it's totally fine to drive the wrong way in the right lane on the bikes with no headlights, no lights sometimes. So you got to be careful. Just got to stay very diligent when you're riding over here. Robert Pierpoint, it's easy to get residents in South Dakota. Just need a P.O. box address, no state taxes. Okay, well, that's good to know. No state taxes, okay. Newman, how did you learn how to do YouTube? Paul McGill, who has Old Dog New Tricks, he had a channel and he showed me how to get started and helped me get going on it, and then I kind of picked it up. It's not that hard, it's really easy. And mine's very, very simple, like no editing. I just literally, my first video, I just took my phone. I had like an old Samsung phone, no microphone, had a little $5 tripod, sat there in my apartment in Dulce Vita and just talked about myself and why I'm in the Philippines, and got like 500,000 views, and that's been taken off ever since. I don't know how many views I've got now. I mean, I average about 600,000-700,000 views per month, and I've got 85,000 subscribers. But I treat it as a business. I literally try and do something every day. If I'm not doing something, I'm working on something, on a project, on some kind of video, writing a script, or looking for somebody to interview. So you have to keep at it. You got to be consistent, and then you got to find your niche. You got to find your niche, which is like, what is your little niche going to be? You can't be all over the place, and you can't just put a GoPro in your head and ride around on your motorbike and make a YouTube channel, or you're just not going to make any money doing that. Mr. Sabaks, my cousins in Mexico are shocked when I tell them that Social Security is taxes in the USA. They stopped paying taxes after they retired. Yeah, we still pay taxes here. I gotta plug my power in here. Hold on. There we go. Yeah, it always gets you with the taxes. There's 13 states that do not tax retirement income. North Carolina is not one of them. Okay. Bamboo. Peter Zion. I love Peter Zion. I watch him all the time. Is a broken clock. He suggested that China's decline could begin as early as the mid 2010s due to demographic and economic challenges. However, their predictions did not materialize. Well, he's not perfect, but he's a pretty damn smart guy. And he's been right about a lot of things. He's been wrong about some things too. He said that there was no way the Republicans were going to get Trump elected. He was wrong about that. But I still watch him. I think he's a pretty smart guy. And you can't predict the future. I mean, you just have you look at the data and the information you got in front of you and give your opinion. But I think he's a brilliant guy. William G., atheist. FYI, I'm in northern British Columbia. It's 12 below centigrade with about 14 inches of snow. Wow. I don't miss the snow. I lived in Colorado. I lived in Montana. I lived in Utah. I've been to the snow in Cincinnati. I'm over it. I'm happy to have beautiful days every day. Paul, scattered Thanksgiving parties here as Casablanca wants 1,200 pesos each and not a real dinner. Besides, it's Fiesta Founders Week here, so lots of great food and get-togethers. Yeah, I actually went to Casablanca one year for Thanksgiving. When I first came here, somebody invited me to go down there. It was okay. There wasn't very many people there. It was like, I remember, it was a so-so meal. But, usually we have a big thing here with, 2 turkeys and mashed potatoes and mac and cheese and, salad and dessert and, all the fixings and everything, a whole bunch of people. But, Jen just didn't want to do it this year with a baby. I understand. So we're going to dinner with friends. How do your taxes for the U.S. and the Philippines? I mentioned that before. I do free tax USA. H&R Block is good, free too. I don't know. I did H&R Block one time and filled out everything. Spent 2 hours doing the taxes, and it was supposed to be free. And then at the end, it said, "Oh, because of your age, it's $65." It was a con, So I just canceled the whole thing and started all over. Now in China, Philippines, I'm still having problems with ID Me with Gcash. Need to find a local office if they have one. And good luck with that. Yeah, the ID Me sucks. It really sucks. I'm having this problem everywhere, like my Coinbase account. I'm totally locked out of that. My money's gone because they want to send me a passcode, and my phone won't take passcodes over here. And you can't talk to a real person. They've got chatbots, and it's all computer generated. You can't talk to a real person. I put in a thing. I said, I want to talk to a real person. It said, okay, we will connect you to the next live chat. Estimated wait time, 150 minutes. So, yeah, you can't get a hold of anybody. So that's what's good about this traveling mailbox. They got right a hold of me. I could talk to them, do a video chat, and got it all sorted out. But, yeah, unfortunately, all this scam stuff going on, they make it really hard to prove who you are. And if you're a senior citizen, imagine if you're like 75, 80 years old, and because you're Social Security, your bank or whatever, and they want you to do this ID Me thing. Like it happens with my banks, like Charles Schwab and PNC. Every once in a while, I log on my bank account. Oh, we have to verify your identity. It's the same computer, the same email I've been using for years, and they got to ID me, and they want to call me and give me a passcode, and it's such a pain in the ass, You're constantly verifying who you are. You've got all these passwords. I got 2 pages of passwords on my computer, for all these different accounts and different things. Everything's got to have, you got to register and put in a password, every single one of them. It's just really annoying. Let's see, Paul, I'll email you, and also trying to get a hold of your neighbor, Kevin, as I want to dabble in some trading as I am considering selling my rentals in USA. Well, contact him directly, through his YouTube channel. His YouTube channel is Too Much Time on My Hands 65. But Kevin's gone all the time. Like I don't think he's my neighbor. I think his bike's gone. He's got a new girlfriend. He's out traveling around. He's always gone. But yeah, contact him through his YouTube channel, and I'm sure he'll get back with you. Derek, I hear South Dakota or North Dakota don't tax Social Security. I heard that too. XRP went up. Yeah, after I sold it. That's because I sold my XRP. That's the money that they owe me at Coinbase, and I transferred it into my bank account, and they said, okay, fine, we're going to send you a passcode, and never got the passcode, and that was been months ago, and now I look in there, my money's gone, and Coinbase treats it like it's a brand new account. Like, how would you like to fund your account? Well, I already had it funded, and you took my money. So I tell everybody, if you're going to do crypto, and I'm no expert on crypto, do not use Coinbase. They're the worst company, terrible customer service. They have no customer service at all. And you go online, you check out yourself, you see so many people have lost thousands and thousands of dollars on Coinbase and they can't get the money back. There's actually a class action lawsuit against them. So stay away from Coinbase. Bamboo. Mark, you previously said that guy who tried to extend his tourist visa was grilled at the immigration. Is that one-off case or a widespread issue? I'm eligible only for a tourist visa. I think it was a one-off case because I kind of asked a whole bunch of people that have recently been down to immigration, and they said everybody was nice to him, no problem. He's got long hair. He's a smoker, and I guess they didn't know him. They kind of grilled him a little bit. But the next time he went down there, he told me. I just talked to him the other day. He went down there again a couple of weeks ago. He said it was fine, no problem at all. But and I talked to immigration and asked them. They said nothing's changed. The laws are the same as they were 3 years ago. So you can do 1 month, 2 months, and that's it. You can't do 6 months anymore. I don't know why. You can do it online too. It makes it easy. You don't have to go in there. You can do it all online. So you don't have to deal with anybody. Rick at Randon. Hoping to get a lot more content for my tiny YouTube channel on my next trip to Thailand, Philippines. Lots of luck. Well, if you're going to do this a travel channel, like, okay, I'm in Thailand, here's the market, here's this, here's that. There's so many people doing that. That niche is just overflooded with people. You want to find something unique, like there's a guy, CB something, and his whole channel, he's in Thailand. It's all about racing and cars and, motorcycles and stuff like that. He kind of focuses on that, and he does really well. But you got to find a niche over there. Don't just like go around showing stuff. Come up with some kind of idea. You can interview locals or just come up with something unique. Newman, you still listen to Coast AM even without Art Bell? I haven't listened to it in a while, but it's just because I don't have the time, and I've got a baby and everything, and it's so little time to do things. But I love Coast to Coast, and I like George Norrie every bit. I like George Norrie better than Art Bell, and also like all their other hosts they have, like George Knapp. I like him. But yeah, I started watching that show when I was actually living in Utah, driving from Vegas to St. George. You drive right past that little tiny Nevada town where he used to broadcast from. And I picked him up on AM radio by accident one day, late at night, driving home from Vegas. I said, wow, this is a cool show. And then I started recording it. I had this little Sony recorder, cassette player, radio, but also you could record the radio show. And I'd get home and just turn on Art Bell and just record it and listen to it in the morning because I had kids then too. I couldn't stay up till 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning to listen to Coast to Coast. Then when I was on ships, I used to download them and listen to my cabin sometime. But I haven't listened to it in a while, but I do like Coast to Coast. It's great. Paul, I was a former circle track race car driver as it is an adventure to drive here as 1,000% alert to drive here and organize chaos. But a lot of guys drive small cars slowly, but I've ridden since 17. Yeah, just don't get overconfident here because you're a skilled driver, and sometimes speed is what will get you. Speed and drinking are the two things that will get you in an accident here because I see these guys, big powerful bikes. You can hear them flying down the road at 90 miles an hour, and there's no cops, there's no speed checks, nothing like that. But there's rocks in the road. You'll find a rock in the middle of the highway. There's dogs. There's people without highway lights. The other day there was a guy, a pedal trike, like a three-wheel trike, little pedal thing, no lights on it, and the guy just parked it in the right lane on the highway. Just left it there. You're coming along, you don't see it. You're going to slam right into it. And so when you're flying along really fast, I know so many guys that run into things. So you just want to take it easy. You'll get there eventually. I don't worry about it. I like, we get there when we're going to get there. Traffic's bad, the traffic's bad. And just be careful. And for God's sake, guys, if you're going to come over here and ride a bike, wear a fucking helmet. I see guys all the time, foreigners, riding around, flip-flops and no helmet. And they think they're free as a bird. And I hope they're organ donors because, you hit that pavement, you're dead. I've had several accidents myself. If I didn't have a helmet on, I would be dead. I would be sitting here today. It just takes one little hit in the head when you're already to kill you. So wear a helmet. Victor, so much credit and debit card fraud here. I have had fraud twice this year, committed thousands of miles away, like Minnesota, canceled my cards, had to get another one each time. Yeah, I've had a couple of those happen. Usually it's where I go to a website and they have, do you want to subscribe? And they click it already. You have to unclick it. Otherwise, you're automatically subscribed. And they use your Google credit card you've got on file. Next thing you know, you're paying like $3 or $4 a month for some stupid, worthless subscription. And you don't even realize, you don't check your credit card, you don't realize $3 or $4 charge. That's happened to me a couple of times. I had somebody buy a video game with one of my credit cards in California while I was in the Philippines. And the problem is you record it, and yeah, they take it off your card, but then they want to cancel your card and send you another card. But you're in the Philippines, they don't want to send it here, so you have to send it to somebody in America, so they got to send it to you. And to send a credit card, like Kentucky, where my mother lives, costs $60 to $70 to send just a credit card, regular mail. So it can be a real pain in the ass. So you gotta be careful with your credit cards. Rick, did you continue with the boat rental scrap business? Did you continue with the boat metal scrap business? I don't know what you're talking about. I've never been in a boat rental scrap business. Did you experience any culture shock when you first got to the Philippines? No. I've been traveling my whole life. I started traveling around the world when I was like 24 years old, all over the world. I've been 1,000 miles up the Amazon. I've been far north that you can go, North Cape of Europe and Norway, been to Russia, all over the Caribbean, South America, all over. And so to me, no culture shock at all, none at all. I fit right in here. They're enforcing rules at immigration mostly because of Chinese. I heard this because of Chinese as Asian countries are majority, as Americans are less than 20% of the expats here, and more students at Silliman than U.S. retirees. Yeah, I've heard that the Chinese are kind of abusing the system over here, so they're cracking down on them. I haven't seen any Chinese here. I think they're in different parts of the Philippines. They're really not in Dumaguete. If they are, I've never seen them. Rex, I'm going to Cebu third week of January. I'll email you. Okay, cool. Let's see. Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you so much. Victor, my time over 30 years in the woods, then living in a town of 30,000 people, it was culture shock to me. Well, living the woods, that's like Henry David Thoreau. I don't know if I could, I like the woods a lot. I used to camp out a lot, but I don't know if I could go for months at a time and live in the forest somewhere. I like people too much. Let's see. Art Bell died. Yeah, he did. I think he was living in the Philippines when he died. He married a Filipina. I knew that. He was a smoker too, wasn't he? Yeah, I like Art Bell. He started that station all by himself too. Have you tried balut? Do you eventually get used to it? I would never try balut. Never. My wife doesn't eat it either, but her sister does. No, I would never eat it. I think it's cruel because you're taking an egg with a live chicken there, or goose egg, or whatever it is, and you're boiling it alive, killing it, and then eating it. So no, thank you. What kind of credit card do you have, if you don't mind me asking, and should I bring more than one? I just have my normal, I can't remember, like Credit One Bank, I can't remember the name of them. I got a Discover card, and my PNC debit card, my Charles Schwab card. But yeah, I mean, bring them all. You know, you never know. You know, it's good to have them. And I just go online every month, and I literally call them. You know, the customer service, and just make sure there's no extra charges or nothing like that, and keep them all paid off. It's just for emergencies, really. You know, it's coming here. Like when the baby was born, I put it all on the credit card. Just so much easier, you know, than just paying it off. Let's see. Yeah, I think Art Bell's wife was Filipina. Sure missed that program. Yeah, he was. He was married to a Filipina. I actually did a show from the Philippines for a little while. They're opening a Jollibee here in Hillsboro, Oregon. Yay! I don't like Jollibee. My wife loves it. I don't like Jollibee. Everything's too sweet there. I just went to a kid's 3-year-old birthday party at Jollibee a couple of weeks ago. I mean, like 30 kids and all the Jollibee characters, the bee, and you know, music up way too loud as usual. But it was a nice little thing. But yeah, not a big fan of Jollibee. Bandit Keith King of Dual Monsters has the egg they boiled been incubated by the chicken because otherwise I think it isn't alive. Yeah, it's developed fetus. I mean, the chick is growing inside there. It's got a beak and feathers and everything. Yeah, it's alive. Paul, Cebu is a great landing place. IT Park. Yeah, IT and Park in Iola Mall areas where a lot of people go. Mactown, Newton area. Great, yeah. Yeah, it's good for, you know, if you want that, if that's the kind of life you want, that's the place to be. I wouldn't have, if I was going to live over there, I wouldn't even have a motorcycle or car. I just use public transportation because public transportation in Cebu is really good. Um, Adventures rents bikes to expats. He is 10 minutes from airport. Rented from him several times. He has no trouble renting a bike over here. Anyway, guys, I think I'm going to wrap this up. Been on here for 2 hours, you know, and thank you guys for watching. If you're a subscriber, I really appreciate it. If you want to be on the show, contact me. Send me an email. It's in all my videos. Happy to meet you someplace. We can just have a conversation about whatever you want to talk about. We can talk about anything. And nothing, I don't dig into your personal life or nothing like that. So always looking for someone to interview. So just shoot me an email and I'll meet you someplace. I'll even pick you up and bring you out here. Alan retired. I never ever use my my credit or debit card here. I just send my wife my monthly pension through Remitly. Yeah, a lot of guys use Remitly and puts them in the pocket, some in the bank. Yeah, that's one way to do it. I just use Charles Schwab at the ATM because get your fees back anyway. Okay, guys, take care of yourself, and we'll see you next time. You see me around town, by the way, come up and talk to me. I see guys looking at me all the time. You see me around, even with my wife and baby. If I'm eating dinner, I don't care. Come over and talk to me, say hi. I love to meet you guys. So we'll see you next time. Bye.